So I think this is something that a lot of us have been waiting for and hoping for a very long time since Akman's channel got demonetized. He is finally back, and from little that I've seen in the comment section, in the pinned comments and whatnot, I didn't read too much into it, so that I don't get myself spoilers on this video. Even though I think we pretty much all know everything that is in this video. I saw that he does have some sort of sponsorship now, and I'm just very happy and very excited to see him back. Welcome back to YouTube, and yeah, let's watch this video.
Everybody, this is the Act Man here, and after questioning every aspect of my life recently,
Oh god.
I've decided to come back. It's time to get back to doing what I love most. Because if there's one thing we can all count on,
what was
it's
that?
time to get back to doing what I love most.
I didn't see that part. I really want to catch it. There was a small text. Actually,
If there's one thing we can all count on in life, it's that Activision Blizzard
shit. How do I go back to that?
love most. Because
Bitching about video games. Oh, okay, there we go.
if there's one thing we can all count on in life, it's that Activision Blizzard will always find a way to make themselves look really, really good.
Like if you want to dedicate your channel to making drama content about video game companies without ever posting video game content on your channel, that's probably a good decision right now if you're getting yourself into YouTube, because the content over the past couple of years has just been endless. And unfortunately, as someone who used to play Blizzard games, it's sad for me, but also just incredible for me how the company that I used to really love and respect and play their games, how they've turned out to be the drama queen of all the video game companies, overshadowing like things that happened in like Ubisoft, Bethesda, and whatnot. Like everything is just washed away now, and it's all Blizzard.
Why are we still here?
This is a very beloved and well-respected company within the game industry, and it has a long history of ethical business practices and decisions.
I just love this new energy. Like I can see how passionate he is about this content, and this video just feels so lively. I'm excited for it.
And almost no history to speak of regarding controversy.
Oh, I remember that.
I'm talking, of course, about Activision Blizzard. Yes, that one.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Those of you thinking I'm being sarcastic, well, just take a look at this article. Activision Blizzard clears itself of any wrongdoing.
Oh, I saw a little bit of that. I actually haven't gotten to read too much into it, because I wanted to kind of just watch a video about it. But from what I understood, they did like an internal investigation on what's been going on in their company, and they're like, oh, we did nothing wrong. Jesus.
I mean, what more proof do you possibly need? Case closed. Now let's all pre-order Diablo 4, shall we?
Copy that.
And so, because this company can't seem to go 1 month without doing something amazing, I felt we should all take the time to point out all
For every part of his sentence, he has a news article title that he can post into this that is about Blizzard that is not repeated article from what he already used. That's just incredible to me.
the spectacular things AB has done recently. But before we do that, I'm
See?
proud to announce that this video is sponsored by War Thunder, a vehicular
Nice.
combat multiplayer game. Engage in epic dogfights across PC, Xbox Series X, and PlayStation 5.
Terrific. I'm so glad he's gotten himself a good sponsorship.
Pretty smooth flying, Fox.
No purchase necessary, this bad boy is free to play. It's also cross-platform with last-gen consoles. And there's over 2,000 different vehicles with tanks, warships, helicopters, and airplanes. This game has had a whopping 50 million players worldwide. And I'm the
Wow.
best pilot out of all of them. There's more than
Wow.
100 battlefields based on real historical events. War Thunder offers a robust PvP and PvE experience. I was very surprised by how well the planes control on mouse and keyboard. Typically, you think you need joysticks. The controls
Like I can't see this game being played on a PC. I just don't get it.
Here are amazing. Not
Like
to
with a
mention there's
keyboard
tons of different
and mouse.
factions to choose from, so why not hop into a plane built by the USSR? Dogfights aren't just about shooting down other planes, but ground vehicles and objectives. There's so much to this game, and War Thunder is constantly being updated every
I love how you can get slightly political even when you're doing like advertisements for sponsors. Good timing.
few months, introducing new vehicles, maps, and other ways to play. And you can sign up for free using the link in the description and pinned comment. Doing so will get you some exclusive bonuses, which can include a premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and a 3-day account boost. So go do it. Download War Thunder using my special link, and I'll see you on the battlefield, soldier. Thank you, War Thunder, for sponsoring this video.
And now for something completely different.
Activision Blizzard clears itself of any wrongdoing. The Call of Duty publisher says it's the victim of an unrelenting barrage of media criticism. They're the victims in all of this, you guys. But on the real, I feel like the Blizzard half of this company continues to prove how far one can fall. At this point, it's like your best buddy is hooked on crack and you've been denying it for years, but you have to face reality. Your best friend is a crack addict, and nothing you do will change that. They're never going to kick the habit. Such is my relationship with Blizzard. I love the title of this article. It is ripe for the...
It like clears itself. How do you, as a video game company that's under investigation, obtain the right and the privilege to self-investigate and self-exonerate? How does that even work? Like, how are you your own judge, jury, and executioner? Like, how? Like, who in this world is even buying it at this point? Like, that is just wild to me.
Memes. After conducting a thorough investigation, O.J. Simpson has cleared himself of any wrongdoing. I can only hope this company is getting all their shitty behavior out before they get acquired by Microsoft. So this article is about that, you know.
Well, I'm actually kind of glad that that I didn't get to read into the articles because this appears to be what we're talking about.
That big sexual harassment lawsuit. Wait, can I still say sexual?
Like, I think for as long as you are marking your video properly, like the video not being for kids, I think on YouTube you should be able to discuss these things instead of I don't know, instead of using words like pee or whatever, you know, like you shouldn't be trying to avoid saying certain words out of fear of like getting demonetized or blocked or something like that. Because if you're discussing an issue rather than publishing content that directly shows it or promotes it, I think you should be fine. But I don't know, YouTube obviously thinks differently sometimes.
You know that lawsuit that alleged female employees were being harassed because they were females? There we go. That they were being discriminated against, paid less, being passed up for promotions because they might get preggers, and all manner of horrible things. Remember that lawsuit? Well, luckily, after a thorough investigation, Activision Blizzard has decided that you're totally crazy, dude. You're not being gaslit. And there never was any systemic issue with harassment, discrimination.
Oh my god, this is exactly like that meme. Do you guys know that that elephant who has like a really big, like, who's sucking its own, like, do you know what I'm talking about? That is exactly what this is. This is the kind of investigation that they've been performing. Like, what the hell?
Or retaliation at AB. Well, thank goodness for that. Now we can all rest easy. This investigation was conducted by a Activision Blizzard board of directors, and I'm sure this group held no bias whatsoever towards the company they were representing, or were subtly encouraged to portray it in a positive light. But the article continues. There is no evidence to suggest that AB senior executives ever intentionally ignored or attempted to downplay the instances of gender harassment that occurred and were reported. Basically, leadership wasn't aware and therefore you can't hold them accountable. I mean, fair enough, I wasn't there, I didn't lead this investigation. I have no idea what the truth is aside from the company settling this lawsuit for $18 million. God damn. Well, good for those employees that won the
In comparison to how much money they actually make from the games, from the sub fees and everything, this is nothing. Like paying $18 million to get yourself out of trouble is literally nothing.
big bucks. And good for Activision Blizzard because they've since made back all of that money with the release of Diablo Immortal, a perfectly ethical video game. So no biggie. I'm gonna go buy some legendary gems now. Here in America, we stand by the belief that if you have problems, you should be able to throw money at it and watch it all disappear. That is a true American belief. Whatever the case is, I think we can all agree that something happened at the
Dude, speaking from a European standpoint, that is exactly what this looked like. And everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people from Europe, when this happened, like people who I know, people from social media from, you know, this side of the pond, everyone was pretty much saying the same thing. It's sad and it's unfortunate, but that's exactly what it looked like.
company for this lawsuit to be settled for $18 million. This is just paying for silence, you know? I mean, the fact that there were allegations of employees stealing breast milk is...
What?
breast milk. I have several questions. Number one, who's bringing breast milk to work?
I think I had a video about this. I think it was Quasi who posted the news back when it came out, and back then I was questing through Endwalker MSQ, and I literally decided to watch that video instead of continuing with the MSQ because as a mom, I was just mortified, and that was probably one of the most disturbing videos that I have ever watched.
Into Activision Blizzard? And number two, who at Activision Blizzard is stealing breast milk? Apparently they have like some internal nursery or something, which I get, you know. Activision Blizzard devs demand breastfeeding protections and other reforms.
This shouldn't be something that you demand protection for. This should be your human right. Like, it is within your rights and also within your obligations as a human being to feed your offspring, because if you don't, you go to jail.
Advocating for the safety of their breast milk. I think it's safe to say we live in a society. But apparently a group of employees at AB have banded together with a list of demands, and one of those is to have witnesses at HR meetings. That sentence just makes me feel dirty, dude. Like what the fuck happened in these meetings for workers to demand witnesses?
You are in direct violation of Penal Code 113. You now have 5 seconds to comply. 4.
They say they want all HR meetings documented. But don't worry, says Blizzard spokesperson Jessica Taylor. We have, for example...
Like, I don't think they should have witnesses. I think it should just be public in a way that there should be a camera, and everything that happens in these meetings shouldn't directly be affected by the fact that there's another person who is not a part of the HR to just kind of poke them in the eye with their presence, but for there to be the camera that they will kind of forget about over time. Because even though you think that you can just fake it in front of the camera like all the time, as someone who live streams, that is just not possible. Like, yes, some people go above and beyond to create like a streaming persona or like a, you know, just a personality for them to be. But most streamers, especially the ones who spend a lot of time in front of the camera, they will mostly be forced into being themselves. Because you just, like, as a human, it is so difficult to just fake something at all times. So if they just had a camera in there at first, yes, some things wouldn't be as obvious because everyone would be super mindful, but a camera is a lot easier to forget about than a human being just sitting there. And if you had a camera and everyone had an access to it, then it would have been much more effective, I think.
Already upgraded our lactation facilities, and I just learned that Activision Blizzard has lactation facilities. Jesus, they have a whole list of breastfeeding related demands. I mean, you go girl and all that. I just find this whole concept extremely bizarre. But then again, I also have a penis. Maybe I'm not supposed to understand.
The problem, okay, I did see a lot of things on this list, and yes,
Concept extremely bizarre. I mean,
to a man. Let me
then
see
again,
where it
you
is.
go girl. They have a whole.
The thing is, some of these are over the top, as in most companies probably will not pay attention to these like minuscule details, like the chairs would rock backwards and could not be locked in position to properly position oneself to pump. That is something that I think is slightly over the top in a way that, like I said, most companies will not really pay attention to it, because guess what? Most companies are led by men, and when you're a man, you're not going to think about the need of a lactating woman in that sort of way, and to this to this detail. The tables being made of wood, to me, is just something that strikes me as weird in any circumstance, because I would assume that at companies most tables would be made of either like some sort of like plastic or metal materials with covers and stuff, because wood is just very hard to maintain. And as someone who has spilled breast milk on wood, let me tell you, like when it dries, it does soak in a little bit, and it can leave just a really really bad smell. So from that point of view, I would say that yes, plastic or metal or whatever kind of tables, I guess, would be normal, not just in a lactating room, but pretty much anywhere. The outlet situation was a fire hazard, only two plugs per room, one plug being used by a lamp with a USB jack for phones, and another outlet was for the pump. Well, I mean, this is something that I have no experience with, because over here electric pumps are very hard to come by. If you are even pumping milk, you are using a hand pump ripped to your wrists, you know. But this is it is a bit weird to have a whole entire room with two plugs per room, considering that almost everyone has like either a phone or a laptop or something like that. So it does strike me as a bit strange. In sufficient storage space, there are no locked cubes for workers to keep their pumps safe. This is also something that I haven't considered, because I've never witnessed a lactation like room myself. I would assume, like in my mind, I would assume that someone is just like, I don't know, taking their pump with them at all times, but that's just a little bit ridiculous, because that means that you would be taking that pump to your workplace and back and just kind of be walking around with it. So I guess if there's a locker room or a locker of any sort, I would guess that once you leave your stuff there, it should be safe. And if everyone does indeed have an electric pump, which is very expensive, I would assume that they want to protect it. Refrigerators had padlocks that were consistently locked or could not locked or could be accessed by other workers. What would other workers even be doing in a lactation room? Like, especially a man. Like, would it not be strange for a man to be walking into a lactation room? Um, as weird as it would be for them to like walk into a female bathroom or something like that, it's just a little strange. Um, Workers also using refrigerators to store their beer in. Why would they store beer at work? Like that's just sad. Sanitation standards were not being kept up. It did not appear the housekeeping was cleaning those rooms consistently the way the rest of the offices were. Uh, Maybe this is something that a lot of I don't know, lactating women or moms would disagree with, but I think the problem is about the lactation room being something that people consider to be another room, like an office, right? This is not an office. This is not a room that you should just be able to walk into. Um, I do believe that those rooms should be secluded if they're not already, in a way that, like when you have like toilet, like bathrooms for like, I don't know, women and men, and then usually next to these doors you will have like another door where you can change your baby. Like I would assume that it would be normal for a lactating room to be somewhere within that area. If not, built in a way that you can only access it through female bathroom. I know that that sounds a little over the top and is probably not possible or well, not possible to redesign or fix or not even on their minds, or there's probably a reason why that's not the case. But I would assume that lactating and pumping, which is basically exposing your private parts to the world, and having to do that in a company, I would assume that that is something you want to do in a private area. So if you have a private area like a, you know, like a restroom, bathroom, whatever, why not just have a door there for a separate room that doesn't even have to be that big, where men just wouldn't get in, wouldn't be allowed, because there's a higher chance for a man to be noticed within a girl's bathroom than them just entering a random door that could also be perceived as an office.
Whole list of breastfeeding related demands. I mean, you go girl and all that. I just find this whole concept extremely bizarre. But then again, I also have a penis. Maybe I'm not supposed to understand. Maybe I'm supposed to support. Apparently, the internet also turned private detective trying to uncover who the identity of this mysterious Robin Hood of breast milk was, and they might have narrowed it down. Now, I can't find a high-quality shot of this 4chan post, but according to this Kotaku article, apparently some guy said he worked at a large tech company, that he often raided the lactation room. He would then pour some of the milk into.
I just skimmed half a liter off the bottles in the fridge. What the fuck? What the fuck do you use the breast milk for? And explained that he would lock door. He often pour some of the milk into a water bottle, using it for maximum gains before a workout. What?
Water bottle, drinking it before a workout for maximum gains.
Oh my god, that's such a misconception. That is like people spreading this misinformation and that getting out in the public for, I don't know, other people to read and give them ideas is just horrible.
Ew. Get out of here, man.
Back in November, thousands of employees had also like staged a walkout in protest of Bobby Kotick and asking him to resign. I mean,
how are you not? I'm going to just assume that people are in no way, shape, or form disgusted by taking just another stranger's liquids, which in fact what breast milk is. If you want to have a breast milk, how about if you want to use breast milk for workouts, how about you go to your own wife, get her pregnant, get a child, get her to breastfeed, and then try to explain to her that you really need some of that breast milk for your muscles and your workout and your whatnot, and see how she reacts. So if she allows you a portion of what is supposed to be her, you know, your child's feed, yeah, then go ahead. But like, it's like going around taking a random person's breast milk out of nowhere. To me, as a slight germaphobe, is just a little disgusting. Like, yes, breast milk is even if a woman is like sick or something like that, they do contain antibodies. It is safe, of course, but like maybe not in all instances should you be trusting to just drink a random breast milk that you know has not been, you know, processed or anything like that. Like, how can you trust that?
I mean, that's just crazy. So good for them for sticking up for workers' rights, and I hope they win, and I hope Activision Blizzard treats its employees better. So now that I can't do ad breaks, here's the part where I promote my Patreon. Please consider donating. I can't promise a whole bunch of rewards, but I do make exclusive posts there informing people about upcoming videos and plans. So moving on, back in May, AB announced this King's Diversity tool, which drew a lot of criticism, and for good reason. They quickly rewrote this article, but thankfully the Wayback Machine exists. But I feel it's important to note that the people who designed this system
I never really understood this system to begin with. Like, what the
disavowed this article, and the way a
swear on our company tries to slaughter any good will be the actual devs who make the game have built. Overwatch doesn't even use this creepy dystopian chart. Our writers have eyes. The artists have eyes. Producers, directors, this far also have eyes. Like, what was this?
B was trying to use it. So let's take a look at the original article and then compare it to the new one. So what is this diversity tool? Well, it's a way for Activision Blizzard to assign number values to a character based on their physical disabilities, gender, race, ethnicity, skin color, sexual orientation, you name it, and assign a number value to that.
What is this number value used for? Like, they will, like, for someone who is what is this, a woman who is what, a woman, what, they would be appearing more in the, like, within the game, within the cutscenes, or what? Like, how does this even
Rating its diversity. With this innovative new system, the character design process now has a dystopian, tangible way of avoiding tokenism, stereotypes, and exclusion.
How?
I love how they bring up tokenism while admitting how much value they place on characters simply for their diversity rating, as I'll call it. Like, isn't
I see. So they would have a woman of color who is bisexual appear more than a white man who is just a whole lot of, like, nothing in comparison to their stupid chart.
Isn't that what tokenism is? Including characters not because of the value they add as a fictional person, but rather the checkbox that they mark off.
I feel like that's the same thing that they do with employers as well. And don't get me wrong, I do believe that in inclusion. Of course I do. But at the same time, I'm also the kind of person who believes in the individual value of each employee to the company. I do believe that if someone as an individual is completely, utterly, and fully useless to the company when it comes to the value that they provide to it, when it comes to their talents, their abilities to create, I don't know, content, in this case, make games or whatever. I don't think that they should necessarily be awarded a working place, or I don't think that they should necessarily, as a gaming character, be within the game just because of something else that they are, so that they're, I don't know, so that people could see the company as inclusive. I think that's what they often do with those high ranking, like, CEO spots. Blizzard recently did it. They assigned two I think it was like two co-leaders of, like, World of Warcraft or whatever, and one was a woman of color and the other is a man. But I feel like they only, like, have had that one additional spot just so that they could, like, check all these check boxes, whereas they actually rely on a man who we've all known for a very long time as a World of Warcraft player to actually do the work, which to me is rather unnecessary. If you actually believe in someone's abilities, then you should just have one spot for them to fill, regardless of the fact of whether they're a woman or a man or black or any other ethnicity or whatever their sexual orientation is, if they provide value to the company.
I find something just inherently distasteful about that philosophy. These mother truckers also grade characters based on, like, disabilities. Like, God, this is so fucking weird, man. I'm creeped out. I feel like spiders are crawling up my legs right now. It's like, even when Activision Blizzard is trying to do something good, they end up doing something terrible instead. I mean, yeah, you can say this is from a good place, like, yeah, we want to see ourselves represented in games, don't we all? The question that does remain is this: how do we convert this feedback from a collective desire into a tangible reality?
That's not what we asked for. Not at all.
It's like, maybe you can't. The Diversity Space Tool is a measurement device to help identify how diverse a set of character traits are, and in turn how diverse that character and casts are when compared to the norm. Implying there is some kind of diversity standard or lack thereof. Like, what is the norm for diversity? Like, you can quantify how diverse a...
Honestly, this wild misconception that any person with how should I say this and like not be bad or whatever, with a trait or any sort of characteristic that is deemed not ordinary by most people, I don't think that they would go and legitimately feel upset about them not being represented in the games. Maybe some do. Maybe like I have read some posts of people with disabilities wishing for their own disability to be at least somewhat I don't know, represented in the game. And I know, for example, I read a lot of positive feedback on Final Fantasy XIV when a person in a wheelchair was represented within the game, and it made a lot of people happy. Even though originally I didn't pay attention to that in that sort of way when I played through the main story quest line. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, there is a group of people who will legitimately want to see themselves represented in that sort of way, but most people just won't, because I think we all realize that we are all different in so many ways. Like, I'm not gonna go around um and try to play games that represent me as a person. I don't know. I just don't think that games should work like that, because games are partially about immersion. If you can't immerse yourself and role play as a character within the game, and all you do is just look for yourself, then I don't know, maybe you just need to change your mindset a little bit. However, if you really do want to represent yourself, MMORPGs today have uh, a lot of possibilities for you to do that. Now, I don't know a lot of MMORPGs who will actively put a character or a character you're creating in, like, let's say a wheelchair, if we're talking about disabilities or anything like that. Some things you just can't do, but what I would call lighter disabilities, like me with my glasses, yes, you can have glasses in some of the games. So some forms of soft disabilities are presented within games, and I don't know, like I think that is just something that is not really possible or expected of MMORPGs to just include all of these cases of different, people, different, their different traits or whatever, just so that the characters could represent themselves. Because if we're talking about, okay, so I mentioned wheelchairs, like, it would be, I think, for an MMORPG where you go and like do, I don't know, dungeons or raids or something like that, like, it's unrealistic for yourself to be represented within a game as a person within a wheelchair, because how would you explain the role play of that? MMORPG is a role playing game. It is not meant for you to be role playing as your full self. That is not what the game is about. And so if your disability is represented, how is your character rating? How is your character going to dungeons? How does any of that work? What I'm saying is, some things are possible, some things are not possible. It is just games. Like, we're talking about games. We're talking about something that people should just, be relaxing to, something that they should be spending their free time on, not this.
Group of people are, but you can't attach a number value to an individual. Like, that's so weird. Maybe this tool can be used for something good, but the way Blizzard represented it feels dystopian. Like, imagine if the government got a hold of this. We also can't really trust Activision Blizzard to mean what they say when they say diversity is important to them. Like, this company is mathematically engineering its video game characters to appeal to the broadest demographic possible, which isn't inherently a bad thing. It's just, we're talking about Activision Blizzard.
You don't want to do that. You think you do, but you don't.
So you bet
And I love how everyone is just wearing this fake smile. It's like, you know.
your sweet buns that diversity and money are two inextricable terms to them. Alana Cole says the tool was tested by the dev teams working on Call of Duty Vanguard. We used the diversity tool to figure out what more diversity looks like across all our characters in both campaign, multiplayer, and live.
I'm not like when I start a new game, when I make a character, I do comment on how good it is that you can represent yourself in multiple different ways. I remember when I started playing games where that would allow you to create your own characters, you didn't get to choose whether you're gonna be like black or white. You were white unless the game was just designed to be representing something completely different. Unless the game was made with the target audience of it being like Asian market, you couldn't be Asian, you know? But like now I don't know, you have like so many opportunities to make your face, your skin tone, your hair color, anything you want. To represent yourself in the best way. Maybe not your disabilities, maybe not your sexual orientation, because how would you represent that, through a game? Like maybe not some of those, but most people can nowadays in games that have really good customization options pretty much fully recreate themselves if they want to.
5 seasons. See, I knew I was onto something when I was talking about how boring and uninspired the Vanguard cast of characters were. Like it feeds into that idea that these games are being mathematically engineered, scientifically engineered to be as diverse as possible. Not because it makes the games better, but because they want to appeal to everyone. I feel like when I can tell that you're trying to be diverse and it doesn't feel natural, then it feels like there's an ulterior motive there, and it turns.
When you have three people, let's look at this cutscene right here. When you have
Everyone.
three people in the car, I'm not gonna pretend I'm educated enough to say like what exactly which like ethnicity they were trying to represent here, but let's say that this would be some sort of like a mixed color. I don't know.
Possible.
I can't
Not because
tell.
it makes the games better.
And then you have a clearly black guy and a clearly white guy, and on top of that you have one woman and two men in a cutscene where there's three people. So he has a good point. Like everything is engineered to the point where whichever choice that they have, they will try to make it as different as possible. Now, I don't know this game. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the circumstances here are. Okay, she's Russian. She's okay. So that would be like a part of Russia with like very not just Eastern European, but Near East traits. I'm not gonna go and guess which exactly they would be, but they really try hard with that, and that's something that's become obvious in movies. It's become obvious in TV shows, and it makes them less engaging. It almost feels like an advertisement. It just feels like when they put a character like this, for example, like when they make vampires black. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance to everyone who disagrees with me, because nowadays I feel like I have to do that, but I don't believe in a fantasy where vampires are black just because of the way their skin is, just because of the way they are less affected by the sun. Like the whole idea of vampires is that they are burned by sun. Like it's just not something that I personally believe is realistic. And but that's just the way it is today.
But because they want to appeal to everyone. I feel like when I can tell that you're trying to be diverse and it doesn't feel natural, then it feels like there's an ulterior motive there, and it turns me off. Overwatch is actually pretty good about its diversity and variety of characters because the basis of the story is the best operators from all over the world coming together, and it's a hero shooter. It makes sense. The diversity in Overwatch is cool. The Overwatch 2 team at Blizzard also had a chance to experiment with the tool with
But look at this picture in Call of Duty. Like you have like a group of people. Maybe they are from all over the world, but you literally don't even know how they're all in the same place.
equally enthusiastic first impressions. Now let's look at the updated article. I'm surprised they didn't start with, "It seems this blog post struck a nerve." There has been conversation online regarding this tool, particularly concerning its intent and our commitment to diversity. We've edited this blog post to clarify that this prototype is not being used in active game development.
So that was a fucking lie.
It's not being used in active game development, folks. It's only being used in COD Vanguard and Overwatch 2. How can you walk back this straight up lie, you know? The objective of using the tool is to uncover unconscious bias by identifying existing norms and representation and acknowledging growth opportunities for inclusion. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Activision Blizzard. This isn't gonna make people forget about that massive sexual harassment lawsuit. The tool identifies what stereotypical characters in different genres look like, which are not always the most conducive or representative of diversity. Yeah, but sometimes stereotypes are fun in video games. Just look at the cast of the Call of Duty Zombies crew. Exaggerated stereotypes, when applied equally, allow us to all laugh at ourselves. I don't know, this whole article just feels like such a robotic, sterile, cold, and corporate.
I can't believe that this article even went out in public. Like as he's reading it, it just looks like something that would normally be, I don't know, hidden and leaked to the media or whatever.
Way of looking at character creation in video games. Like, why do you need some kind of diversity calculator in order to make good, unique characters? I just feel like that's normal storytelling. That's art. It comes from a passion.
It just feels like one of those. Have you ever played those like alchemy simulators or whatever, where you have like a group of materials, and then your goal of the game is to like combine, let's say, first the basic materials to get some new materials, and then take those new materials and like combine it with the other ones. So your goal of the game is to produce like all the elements. I actually used to love that game. I can't remember what it's called, but that's kind of what I feel they are trying to do with their characters. Let's have a character of every kind, of every possible trait, so that everyone can be happy.
To deliver an experience or a feeling to people. Moreover, why do you need to brag about this tool and write up a blog post if your motives aren't to get brownie points? Especially alarming is how you removed all reference of it being used in active game development. Like, come on, we know you're using this in Overwatch 2. Speaking of Overwatch 2, Overwatch 2 will be a free-to-play live service. God damn it.
Not again.
I feel like the term live service has just been completely soured over the years.
Live service? Like, what the hell is live service? Live service is like a very broad term. Like, even like when I live stream, is that live service? Like, what is live service?
Like, I'm sure Blizzard can handle it, but you know, with how they've created Diablo Immortal, everyone has to start asking some serious questions about what kind of ethical problems Overwatch 2 is going to have, because you know it's going to have some of those. And while this game is marketed as a sequel, it's more like a blob that's going to absorb the current Overwatch and change it into something you may like or may not. Apparently the format is switching from 6v6 to 5v5, which I feel like poses a lot of problems with only one tank.
Like, I'm not an Overwatch player. I think my younger brother plays Overwatch, and I would have to ask him for feedback on this. So I can't really comment on it. Like, I personally am used to 5-person parties coming from World of Warcraft.
Tank on each team. It's like, I'm sure it'll be fun, but I stopped playing Overwatch because the game felt more and more restrictive with later updates and changes. Role queue takes so much fun out of the game. You know, part of the appeal of Overwatch is that you could change characters at any point, and now you can't. Now you.
Oh, wow. I actually, when he got me, like, when my brother got me to play Overwatch, like, I think I played a few games. I could, like, switch between like heroes whenever I would, I don't know, either die or just whenever. I didn't know that was not possible anymore. That sucks.
Be a specific class of character and stick to that. Like, imagine if they did this to League of Legends. God damn, people would be pissed. The free-to-play nature is likely there to lower your expectations for what a sequel should be. And if you like the current version of Overwatch, well, too bad. It's going to be replaced entirely whether you like that or not. Some of the other highly advertised features include maps, but the time of day is different. You mean the bright map is now dark and the dark map is now bright? What? I don't know if this is just me, but I'd be much more excited for Overwatch 2. Number one, if a
Like, does the weather change depending on like the time of the day you play, either on server time or like real time, or some maps just get permanently bright or dark? I don't get that.
B wasn't such a terrible company, but also if it was marketed as like a full-priced sequel, just sell me the game, you know? Overwatch is still fun. However, with Blizzard's track record, I wouldn't be surprised if the breast milk was stolen with this one too. Luckily, they've been focusing on the important things, like changing McCree's name to Cole Cassidy. I'm still calling him McCree. Moving on to...
And everyone who's ever played the game before is going to continue to do that. It's just going to remain, because people don't care about the name. People care about the actions of these people. People care about what happens in the real world, not how some stupid character is named.
Diablo Immortal. I always feel like Blizzard intentionally packages terrible news or terrible games with things they know people are going to be excited about. I can't tell
That's
if they're
sad.
trying to be crafty or stupid with showing Diablo 4 gameplay just 10 days after Immortal came out. Diablo Immortal, if you don't know, is one of the most insidious...
I think they just have like a roadmap that exists, and whatever happens within the community or at launch or whatever, I feel like the roadmap of the events that they have planned is actually so rigid that they don't have any space to be like, oh shit, maybe this has turned into a bad timing to be showing Diablo 4, because they wanted to show Diablo 4 thinking that the community is just going to be stoked about it, because of course if you're launching a game, of course you're going to believe that you're launching a good game that people are going to be excited about. Like, I would be very concerned if Blizzard was under the impression that they were launching a good game, but it's just how it is right now. It's like, maybe we should like move the, I don't know, the gameplay showcase up a little bit until the, I don't know, the community calms down a bit. No, 10 days after Diablo Immortal launch, they showed the gameplay, because that's what it's been decided in some meeting that they had ages ago.
examples of video game monetization in history. Blizzard has gone so far down the path of greed, they've actually outdone themselves, with Immortal having beaten the previous record for lowest Metacritic user score,
Jesus.
a record previously held by Blizzard, with Warcraft 3 Reforged. Now, for shits and giggles, let's see how much money we would have to spend based on the odds to get a 5-star gem, the best kind of item. This app calculates how much it could potentially cost you
To waste $25.
to get a 5-star legendary gem. In fact, one streamer had spent over $10,000 without getting one.
Damn. The fact that someone took the time to design this is just ridiculous and just wild to me. What the fuck? Like, this, like, you want to believe that this can't be real, but it is real. Like, honestly, you guys don't even know. Like, I mean, I come from a place where people will earn around 300 to 400 euro, which I want to say is around $500 a month on average. That's average salary. So some people earn, I don't know, $10,000 or $15,000 a year. A year. Like, this game would not survive if there wasn't for capitalism and the society that they're targeting with this game, because no one where I live in their right mind would take a year of their income and like pour it into a game for a gem. It's just not possible. I understand that we are not the target group, but at the same time they only exist because of this discrepancy in like the living cost and standards between different places of the world. That's why Diablo Immortal exists in the first place.
Well, would you look at that? Only 6,925 buckaroos. And you only have to complete 2,770 dungeons. What a steal! Now, we all know mobile games have a tendency to be monetized in ways that are questionable, but the extent of Immortal and the fact that it comes from Blizzard, it just pushes the boundaries of video game monetization in ways yet unseen by man. Truly, some demonic forces have taken over at Blizzard, but it's much more likely that they've been there the whole time. It's very insidious how the store is specifically set up to encourage players to buy the $25 bundle of gems by making the other bundles just shy the amount of orbs you need to buy legendary gems. Just like how Blizzard is mathematically engineering diversity, so too has Diablo Immortal been mathematically perfected to be the most profitable video game possible. Red Shirt Guy tried to warn us.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
He tried to stop Diablo Immortal
We did not listen.
from releasing, from infecting the phones of innocent people, and we didn't listen. We didn't listen.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Blizzard also tried to warn us. Quickly, burn your phone, everyone, so you don't install Diablo Immortal. Take that! Just when you thought loot boxes were done for and on the path to obscurity, just when you thought the industry consumers and fucking lawmakers all agreed that loot boxes were gambling and terrible, well, Blizzard has successfully found a way to reintroduce loot boxes while trying to sidestep gambling laws. Yeah, luckily it didn't fool the people of Belgium or other countries where this
Like, how come they're the only countries who did that? How do we get our governments, like everyone's governments, to do the same thing?
practice is prohibited now. I can't say I'm surprised by this level of dedication to reintroduce loot boxes. Blizzard does not have to disclose the odds of these legendary gems and whatnot because technically there's some in-game skill required to get to the loot box, and therefore isn't gambling. All this stuff is described in perfect detail in the video The Immoral Design of Diablo Immortal by Josh Strife
I'm gonna be watching that video as well soon.
Hayes, and I highly recommend watching that. Diablo Immortal sets a new low for gaming, but also Blizzard. At least with loot boxes in Overwatch, like the cute and fun characters gave some kind of justification for purchase, but the stuff you buy in Diablo Immortal is to progress the actual game. Bruh, like I said, it seems AB always
Like, for example, I started playing Diablo because I wanted to see what the MSQ is like what the story is like, because I've never played Diablo. And I realized, like, I stopped playing at level, like, 21. As soon as I got the feedback from, like, other, community members who were like, no, you're not going to be able to finish the MSQ. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not even going to do it. I'm just going to watch YouTube videos, and that's that.
game to announce right around the time a bunch of people are really pissed off at them. Sir, more allegations of sexual harassment in the workplace have surfaced. Oh, no problem. How's that trailer for Overwatch II coming? Doesn't this new video game make you forget about all the stolen breast milk at our company?
No.
Torbjorn says no to sexual harassment. I don't know, man. Big companies like this tend to show you who they really are with their actions and not their meaningless words. As funny as it is that stuff like
I understand that a lot of people within the company disagree with this principle, but the company is so big and their timelines, like I said, are so rigid to the point where they can't even, like, it's been decided months and months ahead what their timeline and announcements and everything is going to look like. There's no changing anything. They are just... It would be like sitting in a car. I'm not a driver, so this is probably not going to be very accurate, but like starting your car and getting on a highway and like closing your eyes and trying to predict whether or not there's going to be traffic around you, and you're just driving and driving, and you're never looking left or right to see if someone's in your lane or if someone is trying to enter your lane or get out of your lane or whatever. You're just driving and you're just hoping to get to the next point because that's what your plan is. That is not how you lead a community. As someone with a streaming community, as someone who considers herself a community manager of my own community, even I know that if I have a plan and if I ask for feedback and that plan is not something that people want to, I don't know, see or participate in or whatever, plans change. And I understand that the bigger you are, the harder it is to change these plans. But some companies are pretty good at that because some companies just really want to listen. I'm not saying Square Enix is a perfect company, but with the Final Fantasy dev team, I feel like they really have been listening. It's like you feel like you're not shouting into the void, and that just kind of feels good.
Stolen breast milk can be a punchline for my many, many jokes. The truth is that some pretty terrible things happened at Blizzard, most likely. But humor is how I always deal with tragedy. In any case, it's hard to be excited for any upcoming Blizzard games given their horrible track record. Truth is, if they were to announce Warcraft 4, I'd probably be like, great, can't wait to see how they ruin that one too. That's where my mind is at with Blizzard games. The only new stuff I'm interested from them.
That's how I feel right now about the new Warcraft game. I actually published a video when the announcement came out about the Arclight, and I was like, damn, this looks like a game that I might play. But knowing how they design mobile games, and that was before I ever witnessed Diablo Immortal on the phone, because I haven't played it ever on my phone. Now I'm thinking about whether or not I ever want the Blizzard game on my phone, knowing what it can do to you. Probably not.
Re-releasing old games, like Wrath of the Lich King. But who knows, maybe Activision Blizzard will get acquired by Microsoft, and this will all be some horrible dream that we look back on and laugh. So thank you all for watching the misadventures of Activision Blizzard. They are a hilariously bad company. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it and subscribe. Don't forget to check out War Thunder in the description below. Make sure you click the link in the description and download it today to get those exclusive rewards. And a big thank you to all my new patrons. Alright everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man, signing out.
This was a very good video. Highly recommended watch. If you watch this reaction video, make sure to also watch it on Ackman's channel. He needs all the support we can give to him for his comeback. And if you haven't subscribed to him, which I doubt, considering he has like what 1.5 million subs already, make sure to do that. If you're new to my channel and if you enjoyed this discussion, reaction, whatever the hell we just did, yeah, make sure to sub to the channel as well. It would help a lot. I'm actually well on my way of getting this channel established, and I'm really excited for that. So your humble little sub will really go a long way with that. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.